We were always intentional about the time that we would try to spend together.
Yeah.
There was always a great deal of intentionality. We're going to set this date and let's do that. We also were intentional about what we were going to do in the future.
Yeah.
You know, what our next plan was, what's our next vacation, what's the next big thing, getting us dreaming and planning.
Excited
As a couple.
Well, welcome to Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage. I'm Greg Smalley.
And I'm Erin Smalley. So we have some questions we'd like all of our listeners to contemplate. When was the last time you flirted with your spouse? Think about it. If you flirted within the last couple of days, awesome, great. If not, ask yourself why.
You know, I think about flirting with you. I remember one time trying to do that and sending you a text message because I had gone into work super early. We just hadn't seen each other. So I was just trying to be flirty. And it's like really flirty. And then sent it. And I get this instant response. So I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be awesome. Only to find out that it's actually from my boss. So somehow, instead of sending that to you, I mean, I still don't know what I did wrong, but I sent that to my boss, who's like, please tell me you meant this for Erin. So, what do you say?
Well, so really, you're saying make sure if you're flirting with your spouse that you're really flirting with your spouse.
And not with your boss.
Right. That's helpful.
That's very awkward.
Yes, indeed. Today's episode is going to give you and your spouse a plan to boost your relational skills, as well as hear about some ups and downs in marriage, you know, the good times and the bads. You're going to hear the whole gamut of marriage.
You know, we're later going to then do something really, really fun. This is going to cause our listeners who typically download, you know, the audio version of our podcast want to instead go to our YouTube channel and download it there because you're going to want to see our facial expressions for what we're about to do.
And then we're going to take a voicemail from one of our listeners in Switzerland. But I've decided that we're going to go to Switzerland to answer the question.
Live in person. That's perfect. You know, we have a great couple for our interview. Roger and Kathy Lipp. We've done a lot of interviews with Kathy. She's amazing. But this is the first time that we've had Roger on.
Kathy has written several books, and she's a speaker at retreats, conferences, and women's events across the country. Roger is also a sought-after teacher on personality types in both marriage and in business, but his expertise is in team building. And we started the conversation reminiscing about our friendship.
Oh my goodness. It's so fun. It feels like old friends that you only get to see every couple of years, but then it's just like you never, spend any time apart. So, when producers are talking in your ear and like, okay, we have to start the interview, it's a good, it's a good friendship.
Keep chatting.
It's good stuff.
Well, again, we're honored to have you with us. You guys have done just such a great job through your books and content. We love how transparent you are. There's a story that I love about you guys as a family going White River rafting, and apparently your kids, somehow ended up in the water, and this turned into what a beautiful marriage lesson. What happened?
Well, okay, so the funny thing is, I had just turned to Roger, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes before, and said, I need to find an illustration because, I speak and I write, and I need to find an illustration for, the old illustration of put your own mask on before you put on your child's.
Yeah.
And Roger's kids came home. We're a blended family.
Yeah.
So there are kids at this point, but at that point they were more his kids. Let's just be honest. And they were on a whitewater rafting trip, and Amanda, our oldest, was running the trip. Now, she wasn't the paid guide, but she was in charge of all the kids who were on the trip. And part of the fun, apparently, I don't know.
Who knew?
Yeah. Of whitewater rafting is that the guy dumps everybody out of the raft.
Oh.
That's the fun part, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
I guess for little kids, that is.
Yeah.
And so what what Amanda and Jeremy were doing were lifting all the kids back into the raft. And the paid guide said, no, you can't do that. You have to get in the raft first and then pull them up, because you're wearing all these clothes, and these wet, wiggly kids are just going to be, they're going to be so heavy. And by the time it's time to lift you up in the raft, you're not going to have the energy.
Oh,
and so we heard this and we thought, oh, what a cool story. And then I turned back to him and I say, I still need to find an illustration. And he's like, you were not listening, were
Exactly.
you? So, but it's so true, right? We discovered that early in our marriage, that if we didn't take care of ourselves first, there was nothing left to take over our kids.
And it doesn't come naturally, because we're caretakers, right? We caregivers. We want to shower love on our children, etc. But we also have to make sure that we're protecting our relationship, so that we have that energy to give.
Because it doesn't feel like it, but eventually they will grow up and leave the house, and then the two of you are staring at each other. And, we know some people, their whole lives.
We may be in that phase. No.
Yeah.
But there are some people who, like, their whole life is only their kids and their grandkids, and they're at their whim. And we love when we get to spend time with our adult kids, but that's not everything.
Yeah.
Right. What did that look like then for you guys? Like, what was the signs that you were exhausted, worn out, empty? To your point, just we can't give what we don't have. Like, what did that look like day to day for you guys?
Yeah, especially in the early years of our marriage, as we're blending these teenagers.
Oh, wow.
Because they were 13, 14, 15, and
Wow.
17 when
I got married.
Yeah, we were dumb.
Yeah.
We were dumb.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that staring at the wall going, what have we done?
Yeah.
We could, and it spilled over into discussions and tension in terms of how do we manage the house? How do we manage chores? How do we divide up responsibilities? What about school? There's 1,000 decisions as you're getting married, and now blending a family. And you've got this background of just a difficult situation for the kids. They're going through something challenging here.
Right.
And it creates opportunities for misunderstandings.
Yeah. And you think that love will conquer all.
Right.
But you can love and love, but there's the practical of, the kids are mourning it in many ways, not their original parents not being together, and that has to be acknowledged and recognized. But we had to protect this. And so that meant carving out time for us, setting up, certain boundaries with the kids about where they could go in the house. When they were used to being able to go absolutely anywhere, maybe our bedroom is not the place for you to go right now.
We are a newlywed couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So you're learning how to blend. These kids are learning how to live in this new household, and you have this marriage to take care of. But then also, we know that two whole healthy individuals create a healthy marriage. How did you guys figure out caring for you amidst caring for kids, caring for a marriage, caring for a household? Right. How did you discover, and what did you discover was the best tools, best things that worked for you?
I would say, it came from one of our kids just going through a tough time. And we said, okay, we need him to get into therapy. So we were going to drive him there, plunk him down, and have the therapist fix him. And the therapist
the hope of every parent. Yes.
Exactly. Right. Can we throw enough money at this problem to make it go away? Right. And he said, yeah, I'll be meeting with you and Roger. And we're like, we're fine.
Yeah.
But, to really understand that there were some things that even though we did feel fine, but there was tensions underneath, and there's the newness sometimes of the marriage, and being in love can cover a multitude of sins for at least a while.
Yeah.
And then you start to really reckon with it. And then having to carve out time, just the two of us. And so, I mean, there were times when we just got in the car and we didn't know where we were going, but we just had to get out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, we lived in Silicon.
Wasn't escaping from, a burning house.
No, nothing like that. We lived in Silicon Valley. We had 1,400 square feet. That's what we could afford.
Wow.
And so with 6 people,
Yeah.
You're close.
We're on top of each other.
Yeah.
6
for sure.
blended people.
And we went on a lot of walks. I was not really a walker before we got married. And Roger went on a lot of solo walks. We went on a lot of couple walks. And that really was a time for us to decompress and, both looking, not necessarily eye to eye, but staring ahead and just talking without the stakes being quite so high was a gift.
We were always intentional about the time that we would try to spend together.
Yeah.
We knew that if we just let it happen, it wasn't going to happen.
No.
Because life is going to interfere. So there was always a great deal of intentionality. We're going to set this date and let's do that. And on these walks, I think we were also, Kathy said, looking ahead. We also were intentional about what we were going to do in the future.
Yeah.
What our next plan was, what's our next vacation, what's the next big thing, getting us dreaming and planning. Excited as a couple.
Yeah. How did you help your kids to understand that you needed that time? Because I know I hear from moms especially, oh, my kids don't like it when I spend time with my husband or on me. They want my attention. And so therefore it's not good. How did you communicate that to them?
I think that one of the things I had to understand was it was good for our kids to be bored a little bit. It was good for our kids to have to entertain themselves. Our kids are self-sufficient adults right now, and we have a couple who are on the spectrum. And so that wasn't always going to be a given. And to be able to say, you know what? It's as we train our kids in other things, in doing chores, in doing homework, in doing life and being able to fend for themselves, to be able to make their own food. That was a skill they had to learn. When my daughter went off to college, I asked her, I was talking to her the first week and she didn't move far from us, but she goes, she said, I'm teaching everybody on my floor and in my pod how to do laundry. I'm like, what? And she said, they don't know how to do laundry.
Wow.
They would joke about parental neglect. Like, no, you're doing laundry when you're 15. This is a skill that you can absolutely do. It's really a life skill. And so I'm glad that they had those gaps in my overwhelming attention so that they could learn to do these things, because they went into the world, pretty much formed human beings.
Yeah. Just last week, our daughter is a senior in high school, and I realized she had never learned to iron. I don't even know if she knew what an ironing board was. So I was pulling the ironing board out and I had the iron. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to teach her how to iron. So just last week, our Annie learned how to iron. So she can,
which is a lost art, right?
It is.
She's going to look so much better than, because, most of those kids, it might be a little downy wrinkle
totally
today, but she's going to be ahead of the class.
That's right. She can thank me later for that. So we've done a segment called Date Night Disasters. Do you have any date night disasters you'd like to share?
Can we pull up a vacation?
Sure.
Not a date.
It was a date.
It was time together. Any time together disaster stories. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Disney person. I love Disneyland and Disney World.
You just lit up when you said that.
Oh, yeah. I leaned in.
Yes.
Sound man is turning down the volume. Yeah, okay. And we had planned a trip to Disneyland. I think it was for my 60th birthday or something. And we went all out. We were staying on.
We were saving for a long time.
And we had it all planned out. It was like almost a week long trip there. And Kathy was speaking the day before in Chicago, and we flew from Chicago straight to Anaheim. And as we're checking into the hotel, she's saying, I don't feel so good.
Oh, no.
And the next day, I'm not feeling so good. It turns out we had COVID. At the park. We were the spreader of germs at the park.
We were plague rats. We had no idea.
Rats.
We thought we had colds.
And it was so hard to do anything. It was like we've spent all this money.
We're going to
go have fun, darn it. And it was tough.
But we learned some things. Half of the adventure is who you're with.
Yeah.
And, I like that.
It was very disappointing that we've spent all this money.
Right.
And we did, do all this, but also, hey, we aren't feeling well, and we have this really great hotel room and room service. And when do we have time to eat room service and watch movies and just be together?
Have a cleaning person.
Exactly. Little did we know that we were super spreaders, but at that point we thought,
thought it was just a cold.
Yes. Yeah. And you can choose your attitude about the thing. And so it really, I have fond memories of that trip. I know there was a lot of disappointment, but there was also like, hey, we actually had a really good time and we love to be together. So that's an okay thing.
I love it.
I love it.
And our kids had a great time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. It just
they all got sick too after the trip.
Yeah.
We were all sick together. Yeah. Misery loves company. So that makes so much sense. You guys talk a lot about the importance of, as a couple, kind of figuring out what are things that we can do together, projects or, whatever that might look like. What have you guys learned about just the power of doing that? How does that show up for you guys?
We are living adventures all the time.
Okay.
We've chosen an adventurous place to live. Now we aren't in a city anymore. We are mountain rural. We could shout at the top of our lungs and our neighbors would not hear us. We can't see neighbors.
Yeah, we can see out your window.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw a bear wander by earlier, so I was curious.
We've had that.
Yes. Yes.
So we get adventures all the time, and I think that is really exciting for us because we kind of lean into that adventure intentionally.
Yeah.
You've created these homesteader holidays.
Yeah.
That we do.
We take a week and we're like, okay, that's our week to plant a garden. We have a greenhouse that we also use. We're learning to do things like can, and Roger's riding our four-wheeler around the property. And, it's like
sometimes with a purpose.
Sometimes without. But we love to learn. We love to learn. We use a lot of Chat GPT to kind of learn how to do new things and kind of tweak it for our personal circumstances. We love to challenge ourselves. It doesn't always work out. I think I'm on year 5 of trying to bake sourdough, but I started again this morning. It's going to happen.
You were down there this morning, mixing
making the starter.
Yep.
But I think that if you have a mindset for growth, and for learning. And I think God can use those opportunities to grow you as a couple, but also as an outreach to show people that Christians are just like them, and that we approach things with kindness and community. We've been volunteering at our local food bank to really try to give back to our community, and that can be fun. Like anything can be fun when you are saying, how can we approach this together as a couple, and how can we grow and learn? And we want the best for each other, and we want the best for our relationship, and we really like each other. And that, I know that helps, but it also comes with intention.
Have you had those moments though that I mean, I hear you. These adventures, the growth that you guys are doing together, how it connects you. I like how you said it.
Right.
You really like each other. I imagine there's been moments that you didn't really like each other. Rather that was for a split second or for a season. If you've had those times, how did you guys kind of work through that?
I don't know if this is because we had really not great marriages before. There are times when I really disagree with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't think of a time where I've really not liked him. And I think that may become maybe because we both came from extremely hard, toxic marriages the first time around.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to take a long time till I get to the point where I'm like, ooh, I don't like you. I think that there are times when we disagree. And when we disagree, we are still trying to, I'm making it sound holier than it is, and it's really not. But I think when you've experienced such painful dysfunction, and I'll just say this, I'm sorry, I could cry just talking about this.
Yeah.
I never thought I would find somebody that I liked and I loved so much. He would have to do a whole lot for me to be like, ooh, I don't like you. I think that I'm just in such a place of profound gratitude that even if I don't like something he does, man, I still just feel so grateful every single day. So it may sound very Pollyanna and unbelievable, but it's my truth. So
Well,
it
especially
would be easier if I could manufacture some tension there. Some little hate.
we'll introduce some topics, get you guys fighting.
Yeah.
But how what I'm hearing though is that there's such a profound sense of gratitude and just seeing that, man, God, look what you've done, and look where you brought both of us from and out of,
right.
And now,
yes,
and so I mean, I hear the importance then of that gratitude, just being aware of that. It sounds like it really helps.
I was just with my friend who just was remarried about a month ago. And she was saying the exact same thing, that they both had such hard marriages. And she especially loves watching her new husband come home. And he's like a little kid in a candy shop, so happy and grateful that he is married to someone who is offering stuff in return, that they are connecting.
Yeah.
She said, we lay in bed and just chat at night and just catch up and dream and talk about things that need to be talked about. She said, it's just been such a gift to have that, never dreaming that she would experience that again. So I just heard exactly what you were saying.
And Aaron, can I just say, I feel this in such a deep way because, I've had 3 months of chronic illness at this point. I don't know if you call it chronic at 3 months. And I've just seen a new depth of being cared for by Roger that I've never had to experience before, because I've always been able to do things on my, I was a single mom. I always had to do things on my own. And then I got a partner, and now I've become the one who's reliant. And the statistics are terrible for when women become chronically ill and their husband's leaving the marriage, or, it's scary, right? And to see this new depth of just his care, I am grateful all over again.
Yeah.
All over again.
Wow. In this
Roger,
season.
So for you've been given this beautiful new opportunity to meet Kathy as she's, dealing with that chronic illness. Kind of what's that been like for you? How do you find that motivation? How do you know how to show up? What does that look like for you?
Well, tending to just the basic needs. Does she have coffee, or is ready?
So
for
we
lunch,
say
and
coffee's
now
a
I'm making
need
lunch.
now. Yeah.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
I won't argue.
He learned
This
that
is-
day one.
This
Day
is
one.
the Lip household.
That's
Yes.
good.
So, and then being able to have the flexibility with my job to take the time that's needed to care for her and to take care of those things throughout the day. That's been a blessing to me. And I think it's really helping me connect into Kathy in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, because we're both normally we're both very independent
Yeah.
people. We're strongly, fiercely independent.
Yeah.
But now to have that dependence where, you know, she just runs out of energy in the afternoon and really can't do anything. So I'm making lunch, I'm making dinner, I'm cleaning up and, you know, bringing food up, and I'm happy to do it. It's working well so far.
And he never makes me feel guilty. And, you know, which is it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a new phase of our lives, one that every couple never thinks that they're going to hit, but everybody does, because at some point, whether it's physically or emotionally, somebody's going to fall down. And I have to say, there was a little fear about he's gonna get tired of this.
Yeah.
And we're on month 3, and you know, he's not running out yet. Now, who knows what next month will be like? But you know,
Just learn to do that sourdough bread, and he'll be
Yeah.
fine. So that's his payment.
Exactly.
So it's a new phase of the relationship.
Yeah.
And we don't know how long it's going to be.
Exactly.
Is this a 3 months, a 6 month, a year, or the rest of our lives? We don't know.
We don't know.
Wow.
So if you
Wow.
guys were coaching then a couple who maybe are entering into perhaps what they don't even understand, know will be maybe a chronic, you know, season, a hard season for them.
Yeah.
How would you coach them? So they're now, things have changed. They're now having to figure out a new normal, all that. How do you guys encourage them?
I think there are two sides of it. I'll say from the caregivee.
Yeah.
One thing I've had to say is, you know, I have lots of dreams and plans for my life, my ministry, all of that. And it is not fair to put those on Roger. It's not fair for him to have to maintain my big dreams. So we've just had to dial those back, even though he is a co-creator in a lot of things. So, you know, now is not the time to get new chickens. Now is not the time to pick up new.
We just got new chickens.
That's when this all happened.
How about a new puppy? A puppy. I think a puppy's a good idea.
Right?
Add that into the mix. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the time for me to double down, because, you know, I have energy some days and I can't start things that I need Roger to finish. And so it's just being aware of that kind of thing and kind of dialing down my life and being okay with being bored on the good days so that I can maintain things on the harder days. What would you coach a couple?
I think respect is going to be the core of this, and then holding loosely to your idea of future plans and what you had envisioned things were going to be like and what they're actually going to be like now may be different. And there's maybe a bit of a mourning process.
Yeah, there
you
really
might
is.
have to go through, but to
There
hold those future plans loosely, because now the future is so unsure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really do think,
Not unsure as in you're going to pass away.
no, nothing like that.
Sure.
Where's Kathy going?
But you know, like normally we're supposed to go on an RV trip next week, and we just realized it would take too much for me to kind of stock up for that, do it and recover. We just can't right now. And so that's a 2026 plan. And there were some tears over it from me. Yeah.
Sure.
It affects how we approach dating as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We can't do a grandiose date.
no.
But we can drive to a town, pick up fast food, and come back.
Yeah.
And
Which
that's the date.
to some people may not be enough, but for us right now it is. Like it takes the energy it takes me to go to a movie is something we have to plan for. Like that's my activity of the day. And that's okay. It's just different.
Yeah. But what I love, that what I hear you guys both saying is we're in this together. that although it's you,
Yeah.
Kathy, that's struggling, Roger's right there with you and adapting into
Yeah.
this is reality right now. And there's
Yeah.
grief involved, but you're both leaning in. And I just love that. You guys, thank you so much for being with us. You're amazing. We've had Kathy on before, but Roger, you're a welcomed addition.
Oh,
He's
thank
pretty
you.
great, isn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
He's a
Yes, he
keeper.
is.
Yeah.
He is definitely
Yes.
a keeper.
Until next
Thanks so
time,
much for
you
having
guys.
us on, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your ministry. What a delight it was to engage with Roger and Kathy. We've engaged with Kathy a lot, and she is just always just a spark of sunshine.
Yeah.
And Roger just adds so much to Kathy.
Yeah.
I love hearing them both together.
Yeah, that was powerful to hear her talk about just that deep gratitude that she has for him.
Yes.
And just staying aware of that
Mm-hmm.
and how it just impacts her as an individual, but also them as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we kind of unpack that,
Mm-hmm.
it made so much sense that, with what they're going through with her, chronic illness,
Yes.
and just how he is showing up, but to hear kind of beneath all that, beneath that waterline, just her fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I going to become too much of a burden?
Mm-hmm.
Will he want to stick around for that? I think that's, I love her honesty there,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we all go through those moments of, man, am I going to be so much of a burden?
Mm-hmm.
It's about me. And how are you going to handle that? Will you be there for me?
Right, right. And I think often for women, especially, the fear is, I don't want to be a burden. Am I going to be too much? And oftentimes, and men as well, but oftentimes it's focusing on caring for everybody else, but not allowing others to care for us.
Yeah.
And whether that is because we don't ask or we don't allow, we don't receive it. I think back over the years of the times that I've offered to take dinner to someone, someone in my Bible study, my small group is sick, or they're going through something in their family. And I'll say, hey, can I drop a meal off? Oh, no, we're good. I got it. And oftentimes it is giving, but it's also receiving.
Yeah. And I think your point there is that it's probably better to just say what night would work the best,
Right.
because I'm bringing you a meal.
Yes.
Versus,
I'm leaving it on your
yeah.
porch, and you can choose to let it
till
spoil
next
on
day.
your porch, or you can bring it in.
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, my tendency would, don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
totally.
I don't want you to go through all that trouble. But if you're saying I'm bringing a meal, is Tuesday or Wednesday better?
Yeah, totally.
So
What do you say, Greg, to that woman who's listening, that they're going, yeah, my husband would not tap into the season when maybe she's sick or she's needs more attention and care.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there listening going, yeah, Roger did that beautifully, but I don't know if my husband would do that.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm so aware of trying to make sure that whatever I'm doing, that I'm going to do it right and that I won't feel failed. That sometimes, I can be clear at work. What does that look like to be successful, or maybe some other areas of my life? If you were sick or something, I think there's a part of me that would be worried, like, I don't know how to do this. Probably I got to do it right. What if I frustrate her more? Like part of it is just me understanding that I probably don't have a good vision of how to be successful doing that, and then that's okay.
So
Just
what would
to
help
lean
you?
in.
What would help you during those times that you're not sure what it looks like to be successful?
Yeah, I think just an honest conversation between the both of us, just talking about our concerns and our fear. And, part of it is that if I'm seeing that you're sick and it's been, like Kathy was talking about, a chronic sickness,
Right.
there probably at some level, I'm afraid that maybe you're not going to recover.
And this is our
maybe
new normal.
Yeah, or maybe I'm going to lose you, worst case.
Yeah.
And therefore I don't want to think about that. So maybe I'm going to ignore this, compartmentalize it, not do anything, so I don't have to deal with some of those harder emotions. So I think a conversation between the two of us, to where we could, to the best of our ability, just talk about some of those deeper fears that we both have. Again, that's why it was so helpful to hear her being honest with, am I going to be too much? For me to be honest, to be able to go, I don't know exactly how to do this well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of afraid of not only losing you, but just not doing it right. To frustrate you. So I'm not going to even jump in at all. I don't know. That's at least what comes to mind.
Often what I hear from women is, I don't want to tell him how to do it. I don't want to tell him that deep inside, I'm longing for him to do this when I'm sick or care for me in this way. So they say nothing. I think it's so helpful, especially you're saying, I don't know what you need or how to do it or how to be successful. Yeah, right. So would it be helpful for women to be telling their husbands, hey, I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I really need to lay down. I'm not my best self. Would you be able to pick kids up, make dinner or pick dinner up and start the laundry?
100%.
Just to make it practical.
Yeah. No, I think that would absolutely be helpful to be given a vision. I think we just need to stumble through that sort of conversation. And if both of us are willing to be honest about the concerns or the fears or the, how this is impacting me, if we each do that, I think we could then figure out, okay, right now, let's take it, day by day, week by week, whatever.
Right.
How can I best then support you? Because I love that, that Galatians 6, where it's talking about, each one should carry their own load. That's like as a visual, that's a backpack that you're fully capable of carrying on your own. But when it talks about carrying each other's burdens, that's like you trying to then walk around this super huge piece of luggage or a steamer trunk.
Well, that's pretty much every time we travel. I bring my large suitcase that often you carry.
Right, that you can't do on your own. That
Right.
You were never meant to be able to carry that on your own. And that's where we as a spouse get to come in and talk about that. I can take that on. In this season, I'm strong enough to take this on. So it's either let me help you carry it or let me take this on fully. Kind of like you're saying, hey, maybe that looks like cooking or laundry or whatever those additional household responsibilities are. I think that's an important conversation.
Yeah. And it's so important to recognize that marriage is not going to be steady all the time. There's going to be these seasons where one is struggling and the other steps in, or the other is struggling and the one steps in. So it really is recognizing it season to season.
Right. And that's why, again, Kathy has a great book. I mean, that resource is just packed with these little tips, these habits like we're talking about, bearing each other's burdens, going out on date nights. I mean, just doing a lot of things that they were talking about. I love how they talked about all these adventures that they do now. All that, again, is in her book called Happy Habits for every couple. So we so strongly recommend that you grab a copy of this.
And we'd be happy to send you this book for a gift of any amount. And if you can afford a little extra, maybe round it up, we'd really appreciate it, because anything you give above and beyond the cost of the book helps us keep the podcast coming to you.
So you can find out everything you need by going to our show notes if you're tuning in through the podcast. But if you're on YouTube, just go ahead and click the link below. And again, thank you for supporting crazy little thing called marriage. Well, if you're one of those people who are only listening via our podcast, you're going to miss out on what Aaron and I are about to do. You're going to miss out on seeing our facial expressions.
But you'll get the drift of what's going on. Although it is going to be more fun if you tune into our YouTube channel. If you've never done this before, go to YouTube and search for Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage, then like and subscribe to the channel.
There's some classic research that shows that when we're communicating, so only 7% of the message received are the actual words. So, I mean, you think about that. And it goes on to describe 38% of the communication are from, your tone of voice. but 55% of the communication is from your facial expressions or body language. And I think we get caught up in this idea that, well, I just got to use the right words. If I can just express, and choose the right word or how to say it, that you'll get it. And the research is so saying that that's not true.
Well, and sitting across from couples that are sitting on my couch in my office, it is amazing to me how couples watch each other and they know exactly what these looks or the twitch. I mean, couples read each other all day long. We become so honed in on the facial expressions and the body language.
Yeah, that's why we thought it'd be a fun exercise to really focus in on just learning, enhancing our ability to really read our spouse's facial expressions.
So maybe on your next date night, have a conversation just with facial expressions. What am I communicating to you through my facial expressions?
Okay, so we know that this sounds silly, but Aaron and I are telling you that there's an art in a muscle that needs to be developed around really learning just those facial expressions, your body language, and what that means, and just practicing that. So here's what we want you to do on your next date night. So maybe this is at home. It can be out at a restaurant. That we're going to get you to take maybe 5 to 10 minutes. In the only communication that you're going to do is just simply through your facial expressions. So, for example, let's say that you and I are out on a date, so we're at a restaurant. So we could do this. So we're not going to use any words for the next 10 minutes.
All right.
Just facial expressions. But we're doing this in a way to where we're trying to communicate certain things. So let's say that, I'm observing this amazing meal that you ordered. And it drives me crazy because Aaron always orders something that I go, I want that instead.
But typically it's me wanting a bite of yours.
I always want a bite of what you have.
I learned early on that I was not allowed to take a bite or ask for a bite of yours until you had thoroughly enjoyed it. So I think this is one that I should be doing, because how do you know I'm communicating to you without words that I want a bite of your food?
I will pass the facial expression baton then to you. So because wouldn't it be more like
So that one was pretty easy.
Right.
And that actually happens frequently. I am eyeing your food.
That's why I try not to make eye contact with you when I'm first starting to enjoy my meal.
I can't figure out why you've been wearing dark sunglasses when we start our meals in restaurants.
Okay, so here's the scenario.
Okay.
We're at a dinner party, and maybe I've been cornered by someone that I just don't want to talk to. So I'm trying to get your attention to tell you to help, rescue me, get me out of this situation. So maybe this is how I would do that.
And this is what I would do in return.
You would ignore me?
Because I would want to see you get your way out of it.
So I hear you saying that you would allow this to be a growth opportunity
for self-sufficiency.
Greg.
Yes.
Yes. Kind of defeats the whole, are you going to be there for me?
Yes.
When I'm begging you?
I am there for you. I'm helping you.
Right.
I'm assisting you in growth. Okay, how about this one? Okay, how about when maybe we're listening to someone talk and we are thinking the same exact thing and we know it? How do we communicate that?
Like a little inside joke or something?
Or just the same thought. Okay. Like we both know that we're thinking the same thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
We've done that before.
We have. I won't say where, but we have.
Yeah.
The next one actually happens quite frequently, especially in front of our children, when I'm not ready maybe to talk about something in front of them and you bring it up or you share.
This happens on the podcast,
share
by the way.
Freely. And
yeah. Show me what this looks like so I'll know when to not bring it up. Yeah. Can you get like a tear just to flow down your cheek to your eye twitching?
There's no tears involved, honey. There is straight anger.
See, whereas if I'm trying to not get you to
Irritation.
bring something up, I would do more of this. Say that would be
it.
mine.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, this is so helpful. Silly or not, try it. Take 10 minutes and really try to communicate without using words. Because I think there's some really cool benefit to this. And by the way, don't get mad if your spouse is not cluing in to exactly what you're trying to communicate. Because I know one thing for me was really learning how to tune into your facial expressions to better identify maybe some emotion that you were going through. And that's one cool benefit from doing this. When I really start to notice just the subtle differences just in your facial expressions, like there's so much that I can learn then about possibly how you're feeling. Because there are times when maybe you're going through something and maybe you're just not wanting to talk about it.
Yeah,
but I'll
my
see it in your
favorite
face.
is when I'm giving you the eye, I don't want to talk about this. And you go, what? What don't you want to talk about? In front of the kids. And I'm like,
just trying to understand, seeking to understand. It promotes empathy. Like the more that I can really go, oh yeah, okay, I can see by just the face that she's making, that she doesn't want this brought up. Maybe she's not ready to talk about this, something that we need to do in private. That helps me then lean in and have more empathy for you. It just can be a fun way to deepen your communication and understanding of each other.
Yeah, so have a great time and have fun with this.
All right, it's Q&A time. Hey, we love to get your questions through email, but especially we love it when you send us a voicemail.
And this voicemail comes from Anya, who lives in Switzerland.
Hi, Greg and Erin. Thank you for your podcast. I love to listening to it. I'm listening actually from Switzerland, so it's nice to get some wisdom from over there to us as well. So my question would be, my husband sometimes is frustrated about stuff, but he's not really talking about it because he thinks that I'm already doing it whatever I can, so he doesn't say anything, but then he gets frustrated more and more. And I'm wondering, how could I help him to start speaking about that stuff, even though he thinks that I can't really do more?
Thank you, Anya, so much for your question. We love hearing your accent, and we love knowing that you're listening on the other side of the world.
Yeah, Anya, when I hear your question, for me, it seems like the issue, which I think happens to a lot of individuals within marriage, especially guys, but I think it can happen to either one. But it's kind of like I'll get afraid to bring something up because either I'm worried that you've already have so much on your plate that I don't want to be an additional burden. Like you've got enough going on, I don't want to pile on, or I'm not sure that it'll make a difference. Like why bring anything up? I mean, you probably won't respond to it anyway.
Or there's an assumption that the other person should know that what you're thinking or what's upsetting you. It makes me think of when I started back into private practice, and I would sometimes work until 6:30 or 7 at night, and I would come in and the kitchen would be dark and I'd be like, okay, so where are the kids? Where's Greg? And there's no food being cooked. And I'm like, it's 7 p.m. Oh, maybe they already ate. And I would say, hey, what'd you guys have for dinner? And you're like, oh, nothing.
We just
and I'm
got
like,
busy.
So it's 7 o'clock. And so I didn't say anything for the longest time. Like, hey, would you be willing to cook dinner on the nights that I'm working late? Because I assumed that you would know that I was expecting you to cook. But that wasn't fair until I said, hey, it would be really helpful on these nights. Hey, by the way, I'm working late tonight. And you would know what that means.
Yeah. Because usually when you'd come home, we'd talk about it. We'd figure out what we were going to
Or you would
cook.
say, "Oh, I was just going to give him cereal."
Or that. I know. I don't believe that our kids need a beautifully home cooked, meal
Cereal is
every time. They
great.
can go in the pantry
But I
and help
wonder if
themselves.
that is what the question is really getting at. Like sometimes we assume that they should know, or like you said, if we bring it up or piling on, like it's one more thing they need to do,
about
and
it.
she can't do more, so he doesn't say anything. But then what ends up happening?
Yeah.
We end up frustrated, and steam's coming out our ears, and then we blah, and it just is, not our best self. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's easy for me to kind of posture that way. Like, I don't want to be a burden to Aaron. I don't want to bring this up. And yet the truth is that we bury every emotion alive.
Mm-hmm.
And those small little hurts and frustrations
Mm-hmm.
will add up. They start to fester. They build momentum. And then to your point, then all of a sudden we have those blow up moments. Like, what just happened? Where did this come from? Why are you so frustrated?
Yeah.
All because that I've been avoiding, bringing something up, just stuffing it away.
Yeah, because often what we'll do is distance instead of engaging around it. And so we're either shutting down or we're leaning in and it's exploding.
Yeah.
So neither one works because nothing is communicated.
Yeah. We were on a drive recently to look at the beautiful leaves changing in the mountains. As we were driving, I thought you did a beautiful job of asking me, is there anything going on in our marriage that you want to bring up, that you need to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a frustration you're experiencing? And I remember when you first asked me that,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we're driving in the car, having this beautiful date night. Why would we want to go down, a negative road? Like that's where I went.
In my mind, I was like, this isn't negative.
No, I know.
And you think about what I do all day long. I sit and we got to get in and go deep quickly. And so often I had just come home from seeing like 4 couples in a row and was like, okay, is there anything we need to talk about? And then instead you go, well, let's talk about what makes me happy.
I'm very happy
about our marriage
with you.
And
But
I was laughing because we're so different in that way.
I know.
Like we got to dig in and talk about it from my perspective.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's just talk about it nicely.
Well, and so how this pertains to the question,
bring it back in,
is that probably like Anya's husband, I mean, that's harder for me to want to do and to feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is I thought you did a great job, one, of creating a safe place that we could actually talk. Because your response to me was, it's all right. Like we can talk about this.
Yeah.
We're not going to run our date. So I was kind of like, okay. And then I
slowly lured you.
And then I had to then just slowly wade into the depths of what you were asking.
Yeah.
So for me, it was helpful to talk about ways that I'm happy about you and our marriage that got me going, and it felt safe enough then to actually then turn around. And remember, we did talk about some, not even frustrations, but just some things that I had experienced. You talked about some.
Yeah.
All that to say,
taking inventory.
That you would have been willing and able to instantly jump into that conversation. But you created a safe place and allowed me to go at my pace, which meant that I needed to do maybe something a little bit more positive before we turned, into that type of conversation.
And so you're saying for Anya, maybe her husband needs to be gently led to that conversation.
It's got to feel safe.
Yeah.
Like the threat is, I'm going to ruin our evening together. I'm going to hurt you. Like kind of he's saying, like you've already got a lot, there's so much that I'm happy about. Why do I need to put? But the more we talked about it, the more I was able to go, you know what, this is actually okay.
Well, and what I would say is, how would we ever know if there's frustrations if we don't check in?
Exactly.
And give us each freedom, as well as Anya and her husband really setting the tone to have a space in their marriage, in their connection, that we can give honest feedback.
Yeah. And the marriage didn't implode.
No.
We
go
were
figure.
okay. The
Yes.
night it ended up being one of my most favorite date
Yeah.
nights that we've had in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for your question, Anya, and we'll be sending you your copy of Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage.
Well, thank you for joining us on this crazy little thing called marriage.
Yes, thank you for following the show and sharing it with your friends and family. We want you to have a seat at the table every week as we help equip you and your spouse to have a lifelong satisfying marriage.
Yeah, we want to see you guys growing spiritually as a couple, but also as individuals.
So that you can turn right around and invest in other couples to help them build thriving marriages.
Well, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next Monday about this crazy little thing called marriage.